What's good, Panther Nation? It's your boy Myron McRae, a.k.a. Tornado McRae, across the skies of the internet, here with another episode of Panther Pride TV. One-stop shop for all your Panther notifications, your Panther obligations. Happy Thursday to all of y'all. Hope y'all are having a great Thursday. Let's go ahead, get into today's docket, because there's a few things I do want to address before I get up out of here. And first thing first is being the number of roster moves that were made yesterday and this week, just amidst all the injuries and things that are going on the team. So, here's what we've seen. So, obviously, going on IR are Chandler Zavala and David Moore. Chandler Zavala is dealing with a knee injury that he had this summer. David Moore apparently has suffered a significant elbow dislocation, so he'll be out for a while. D lineman LeBron Ray is coming back, which is always love to have just the depth and everything. Then off the practice squad, you have running back DJ Dallas because of Chuba's calf injury, and we'll get into that here in a second. You have DV Travion Thomas being promoted to the active squad, and then O-lineman Jake Curran from Arizona's practice squad. We signed him. Also, we traded somebody away to the Texans off our practice squad, or they signed somebody off our practice squad over to the Houston Texans, so we did lose that gentleman right there. His name escaped me at this moment in time, so I apologize. And then we signed to our practice squad O-lineman Aiden Williams, running back Trey Tyus, and offensive lineman Shadiq Charles. Now, overall, I don't think this is boding well, because this just kind of reiterates the whole we're paper thin, we don't have much depth, we always get injured, so on and so forth. But also, it started to put into a bigger question our training staff and our training facility, because there are some teams, it's like, your medical staff doesn't go through this nearly as often. What is y'all treatment? What are you doing? Shoot, San Francisco's way worse than us in terms of injuries, because it seems like everybody in San Francisco is getting hurt. The 1 year Christian McCaffrey's injury-free so far. Everybody else is hurt. Brock Purdy, George Kittle, flipping, dog. I think Bosa was hurt for a little bit, but yeah. Overall, I'm starting to wonder what the medical staff is on. I'm not saying this is all on the medical staff's fault, because the medical staff can't sit there and account for David Moore getting tackled and dislocating his elbow. Like, they can't get accounted for that. But sometimes you do have to look at the practices of the medical staff in other aspects. And I think one key story I always remind myself, and again, it's a different sport, but in basketball, Steph Curry had severe ankle injury problems. He was almost traded to Milwaukee, but then they changed out the medical staff. The new trainer they brought in changed up Steph's mobility and his regimen, and next thing you know, Steph no longer has ankle issues, and he becomes the greatest shooter of all time. So, just something to think about. Not saying it's the staff's fault by any means, but definitely something to look into if that upgrade is needed, or if there are techniques that other teams are using that were not, that could help mitigate injuries. So I think that would be important. And speaking of injuries, obviously the biggest one in the room on offense is Chuba Hubbard's calf injury. And Coach Canales actually spoke about the calf injury afterwards, because when we look at the injury report in general, so here's the injury report in general. Chuba didn't practice, Cam Jackson full practice, Pat Jones full practice, Xavier full practice, Cade Mays full practice, T-Mac full practice, Taylor Moton did not practice, LeBron Ray full, JT Sanders did not practice, Charles Smith-Lloyd didn't practice, Turk Wharton didn't practice, and DJ Wonnum had a limited practice. But again, the biggest one being Chuba's calf, and here's what Canales had to say about it. Canales said the calf needs more treatment. The calf needs more time, and so we're just taking it day to day with Chuba. We need to get him a rest day to day, not to put him out there, and to try to get him back on the other side. He was able to play and still played at a high level the way we expect him, playing around the ball hard all the way through it. But coming out of it, he was in a better spot coming out of the game than he actually wasn't in a better spot coming out of the game than he was the week before. Apologies for that typo right there, but he was saying he wasn't in a better spot. And so I definitely would say take Chuba's calf seriously. I would probably, unless he says he's 100% to go, I would make Rico the lead back this week and just let him go do what he do. Rico is a proven 1,000-yard rusher. So I would make Rico the lead back. Obviously, we know how calf injuries can turn into big problems if left unchecked or if strained too much. And don't want to see that happen to Chuba in any regard to any facet. So for sure, definitely thinking about that. And thirdly, do want to talk about it with you guys is some numbers between Miami and Carolina heading into this week that may give you some optimism. It may give you some pessimism. I don't know how y'all react. Sometimes y'all are pessimistic for no reason. Sometimes you're overly optimistic. So, you know what? I'll let y'all decide for this. But by the numbers comparison, here's what we look like going into the game between Miami. And so offensively, we see the Dolphins, they put up 20.8 points per game, 188.3 pass yards, 98 rush yards per game, and a total of 294 offensive yards per game. And their defense allows 29.5 points per game. They allow 220 pass yards per game. They allow 158 rush yards per game and a total of 393 total yards per game. Whereas the flip side, when we look at ourselves, we score 18.8 points per game, so they have us in the advantage there. We rush for 1 more yard at 189. We rush for 2.3 more yards at 100.3. And we have 9 more total yards per game on the offensive end. And on the defensive end, we allow for fewer points at 23.8. We allow almost, 20, we definitely around like 23 fewer pass yards at 198.3. We allow almost 30 fewer rush yards at 129.3. I'm sorry. The pass yards was 198.3. Our rush yards that we allow is 129.3, which is almost 30 fewer yards. And total defense, we allow around 65 to 70 fewer yards at 329.8. So what does that bode well when I see it? To me, this is a stealable game. It's an even game, but it's a stealable game. Easily a stealable game. Now, we all know the biggest issue with this team has been consistency. Are they going to show up? Which team is going to show up? Is it the team that dismantled Atlanta? Or is it the team that got rolled over in New England? Is it the team that showed up the second half versus Arizona? Or the team that got smacked in Jacksonville? We don't know which team is going to show up. I'll be dead honest. We don't know. But the hopeful optimist in me says it'll be honestly the Atlanta team or the second half Arizona team. That's who I want to show up. Defensively, who I don't want to show up is that New England team. No. I don't want that team to show up at all. So I think it's very possible, especially considering they lost Tyreek Hill, so that mitigates their pass offense even more and reduces the threat of it. And Carolina, you have to come out prepared and ready to rock and roll, and you can't play around with them. You can't sit there and just pity pat and think it's going to be easy. You have to go take it. So let's not pull around with it. And then with that our Panther freeze frame of the day, I actually did enjoy seeing this because I want to see this gentleman catch some passes, bro. I want to see jet sweeps, reverses, end arounds designated for this young man, or at least put him in kick return, punt return. Do something. Let this man, Jimmy Horn, go. Just let him go and let him do his thing. And that's all I want to see. It's about time. But now it is time for Panther Nation to speak their truth, man. And we are going to get into y'all comments real quick. So let's look at the first comment and hold up. All right. And first one comes from T. Atkins Trading. My man says, actually agree and been saying all 5 of these to fix, but I will want them to draft 1 or 2 O-linemen in the draft. Oh, we definitely need some O-linemen in the draft. For sure. Definitely need some O-linemen in the draft. I definitely want to see defense addressed first in next year's draft, defense addressed first, and then O-linemen, if I had to make a pick right now. But for sure, I agree with you on that. Second comes from Eric Howington. He says, I would rather see another Rivera first all defensive draft. Look how good that worked for us. I love Bryce, but I think we should have stayed with our original draft order until Jaden Daniels was available with the record we had. An all defensive draft, I'm not against. I will say this, and I've said it for years, I've been reiterating this. I don't think any quarterback we took would have been able to help this situation based off if everything else remained the same. Supporting cast-wise, it wouldn't matter if it was C.J. Stroud, Jaden Daniels, anybody we took in that class, I genuinely do not think would be able to elevate the roster that we had at the time, and we'd still be in this situation just because of how bad it turned out and the supporting cast was. Yes, quarterbacks do help players get better, but you can't – it's on those players to be good, bro. Cam Newton couldn't elevate Kelvin Benjamin. Like, as much as we loved him, like, we did better without him. And it sucks when that happens to be your entire cast. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So I've always been saying I think it didn't matter who we drafted. That individual would be going through this right now unfairly. And our supporting cast for him just hasn't been great. Because I even said that because when people were like, oh, we should have got C.J. Stroud. If we got C.J. Stroud, we'd be talking about C.J. Stroud the same way we talk about Bryce, and people would be hyping up Bryce in Houston saying, oh, we missed out and should have took Bryce Young. Like, I genuinely feel that way because going into Houston, it was a better coaching situation. There were more foundational pieces that surrounded each other. There was a better culture there and a more solidified foundation. A very solidified foundation going down to Houston. Especially with DeMeco Ryans and just the way he built that team and the way they put that team together into the surrounding pieces, bro, it was night and day. It was night and day. And I felt that way this whole time. And then lastly, comes from DP1227, says Bryce needs to start calling his own plays. Since he's going to take the blame for the lame coach and his play calling, a.k.a. Willie Beeman. I mean, at this point, if you're going to do it, why not? If Bryce doesn't trust the play call and he thinks he can make it or whatever the case may be, do it. Because what's going to happen is one or two things. Either it's going to be successful and Canales is going to be like, all right, I got to let him roll and take the wheels off and let him do his thing. Or it's going to suck. He's going to get the blame because we suck anyways. Somebody's going to say take him out, so on and so forth. So he already knows what's the worst case scenario. So I'm not 100% against it. He knows what's the worst case scenario. So, yeah, that's interesting there. But with all that being said, guys, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell at the bottom so you can always be notified of when these videos are dropping. Next, comment below and let me know. 1, what are your thoughts on the roster moves that have been made this week, especially with like DJ Dallas coming up in the running back room? 2, how confident are you in Chuba's injury? Do you think we should just send him out this week and let Rico take full reign? Or do you think we should wait and see how he is on Sunday, if he can go and whatnot? And 3, do the numbers give you confidence or do they spell doom for you when you look at them and break down? And let me know everything in the comment section below because at the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a skinny brother with 2 tats. Peace. Much love to all you Panthers Nation. Take care. Later days. And as always, keep pounding. I'll see you next time.